Hi there, my name is Roger Williams, and this video is entitled Rain Google Columbus Derivation. And this is another video in the Congruent Light series of videos. This is a computational derivation of this research question. How many days in the first half of 2009 did the stock price of Google decline on the same day as it rained in Columbus, Ohio? The analysis version of this video shows how the results of this derivation are used and incorporated into a tool for the researcher. This version shows how a developer would access the data and prepare some code to be used in the analysis. Now, there's so much data out there of all types that there will be a great demand for computational scientists to help the researchers in various fields to harness, reduce, and help analyze the data. But first, we must understand how to process it. So what steps will we take to accomplish this? The question is a type of correlation. In a database application, we would do a join of the financial data and the weather data. So, at a high level, we need to perform the following steps. We need a list of days in 2009 when it rained in Columbus. We need a list of days in 2009 when the Google stock price declined, and then we need to get an intersection of these lists. Now, this is a technical presentation, and there will be a lot of material, so I will go through this quickly. What follows is a log of my experiments. If you want to go over it more slowly, just download the evaluated version of the notebook and or the PDF version to review it more slowly. So I start out by just browsing weather data before I even look at the man page. The weather data for Columbus gives me some string. I don't really know what that is. So I give the string back in and I get the string again. So that's not very fruitful. Let's try to get the temperature in Columbus. So at least I get a number. It looks, I don't know, it looks kind of low. Hopefully it's Celsius, I guess. And it looks like the data that comes back from temperature is in units of degrees Celsius. Now, let's try precipitation. So this is discouraging since it's an incorrect error message. From earlier evaluations, we know it is obvious that Columbus is a known entity. Maybe it's complaining that precipitation is not a known attribute. So I have to go to the man page, and to do that, I'll select weather data and hit F1. And it'll bring up the help for weather data. And if I look through here, all this stuff, I find that it's called precipitation amount. So then I try Chicago precipitation amount. Missing. And maybe it needs a date. Missing. More discouragement. And I know it says on that man page that weather data actually works with some other type of station name rather than a city name. So it must be a different type of key. So I can see that Chicago, the station name, is KMDW. And Columbus, the station name, is KCMH. So let's try humidity. I have a station name now. Let's switch to humidity since there are so many missings in precipitation. Okay, here's a bunch of stuff. At least this looks like something. So on March 15th of 2008, these were the humidities, I guess, at each hour. Midnight, 51 past midnight, 151 past midnight. So you can see there's a lot of data here. I have some data now. So let's look at the metadata quickly. The description is just humidity. The units is missing, not very useful. So I can guess that the relative humidity is between 0 and 1. So let's get the data again and put it into a variable. All that data from above. So I put in a variable called humidities for March 15th. And let's make sure we can access the data variable. I chose a long variable name because we can always retrieve the correct spelling with Control K. So 853, I think, was the first one. If I go back, yep. And then the second one is 812. I can go back quickly and check. Looks like it's correct. And let's take a look at all the humidities. So here's all the humidities for this day, 12 measurements. So this looks good. So now let's sum and average, get some quick statistics. The sum of all the humidities is 38. If we divide that by the number of humidities in this measurement, 89% humidity on that day. Must have been a rainy day in Columbus. So let's go back to precipitation. We wanted rainy days. It would be nice if the data is structured the same, but how often does that happen? Kind of never. So now we have a bunch of data, precipitation data. A lot of it's missing. And let's digest this a little bit so we don't have to look at the whole thing at once. And here's 24 of them are digested out of this. And you can see there's some values. These again look like times. So let's look a little further here. Let's see what the units gives us. Gives us some information about the form of the data. Centimeters, hours. So that actually makes sense now. Centimeters of data. And I guess what hour it is, or in the last number of hours. And what about this? We found another attribute by looking through the help, total precipitation, and it appears to be completely useless. So let's clean up what we can by selecting out the values that are free of missing. And be aware that this ampersand applies to this pound sign, and this ampersand applies to this pound sign. So I'll go over that in a later video. So here are the ones that are not missing. And if I just want to see the values of those, there are the values. And if I want to add all those up, so sort of I want to believe 3.14 is the total centimeters of precipitation for that day in Columbus. So we're going to wrap all this together in a routine with an error check. If you don't have a string like this, it won't give you the right answer. This is the exact same command, weather data command, and then we add them all up. So we'll define this routine, and we'll do some very simple testing of this routine against the 15th of March, the 15th of June, the 15th of September, and the 15th of December. So it looks like it's working. So what we've done is create a little routine that takes a date argument and returns the measured precipitation on that day. Next, we'll find out all the days that the Google stock price declined compared to the previous day's close.